Boom. What's up? We're live
Yeah,
with Sierra Torres here of the band Geez Louise. Great to see you. You doing okay
so
today?
great. I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm good. I love your background. Everything going on is awesome. You have a
Thank you.
tree, you have a salt lamp, an alarm clock. That's beautiful. Have you lived in Nashville your whole life?
I wish I lived in Nashville. I'm in Spring Hill, so like just south, but
No way. You're in Spring Hill?
yeah.
What takes you out there?
I've just we were here before it became like the city it is now, like when it was just really small town. And my mother, when I was a kid, she was obsessed with Gilmore Girls, and she wanted to go somewhere like Stars Hollow, and this kind of had that appeal. So it's changed, but it
No.
was our Stars Hollow.
Wow. So you're out there with your family.
hmm
Cool. That's awesome. I live like near Nolensville with my family.
Oh, sick.
Are you born and raised here?
I'm actually originally from Florida, but I moved when I was about, I want to say 5, and then I've been back and forth between here in California for a long while because my dad's out in California. Well, he just moved to Washington, but he's been in California for
Yeah.
most of my upbringing.
Weird. How come we've never like really crossed paths much? What's been going on?
I don't know, because like I heard about Freeze Fest for years before I met you, and then
Yeah.
just all happened at once when I like bumped into the music scene, and I was like, this is here. What is this? It's beautiful.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Well, I felt
But
the same way about it when I discovered it too. I know you mostly through just like the scene and through your band, through Geez Louise, but were you doing music like in Spring Hill before that?
I had like I mean, I always had an interest, but I didn't actually put it into practice until I got involved with This Wonderful World magazine, and I met our guitarist, and it just kind of like it all really fell into place really smoothly. But prior to that, I did this one terribly embarrassing song that I entered in a contest for like ASCAP, and that was about it.
That's cool. Did you
But,
grow up playing instruments or anything?
I grew up practicing piano. I'm by no means like good. I have not kept up with it. I can do my muscle memory songs and practices, and that's about it. But
Yeah, right.
love it.
So that's cool. So did Geez Louise start through y'all being friends through like This Wonderful World?
It happened when like I went to a show for Ill Spectre on like Halloween or something years ago, and
Cool.
there's just this cool girl there. Like we were kind of dressed similarly, and I was like, hey, like kindred spirits. And then we just got to chatting a little bit, and we were gonna do a band together, and then like we just had two different interests, and it was like totally understandable, and kind of
Yeah.
decided to part ways with that project. And then I met Nick, and at the same time that I was working on the project with her, I was like, we really need a guitarist and a drummer. And he was like, I play guitar, and it just happens, and it was just
Wow.
really easy. And we've been working together since, and that was late summer of 2018.
Whoa, no way.
It's
So
been
it's
a hot
just
minute.
over 2 years now.
Yeah.
That's cool. And that was with the whole time it's been with Nick Jude.
hmm
That's cool. So I met Nick through Freeze Fest. Really, This Wonderful World helped me put on Freeze Fest 5, and
Yeah.
so we got to work together a lot during that. And I never really got to hang out with him much, but it was a real honor. He's a really, really sweet dude and just really
He's
talented at everything
great.
he does.
Yeah, he's awesome. He's a multi-instrumentalist, just like so creative, comes up with the craziest riffs that are just like we wouldn't be Geez Louise without him. It's
Yeah.
amazing.
Who else is in the band? Because I know I have all the names written down, but I was thinking maybe there had been like a lineup change.
Yeah, we've actually swapped out 2 members since our photo shoot with Christina. So
Okay.
we're in the process of kind of like the trial period, just so that there's no like extra kind of tension put on either party. But
Right.
you know, like he's just too freaking good, and he's just phenomenal. And then we have our bassist named Lauren Sheff, and she's just like this badass platinum blonde, like Courtney Love inspired, cool person. And she
Yeah.
like bassist royalty, and she's amazing.
That's cool, dude. I've always wanted to meet her. She signed up to potentially play bass on my last tour.
Oh yeah, she mentioned that.
Yeah, I thought she seems really like a really sweet person and a great bass player, and I would have been honored to have had her come along. So I've still never gotten to like really hang out, but that's cool that she's a part of y'all's band now. That's all the more reason to get me excited about the project.
Thanks. Yeah,
That's really cool.
we're so grateful to have her on. She's just amazing.
How did y'all
But
meet? Because she grew up in Franklin, right? And you grew up in Spring Hill. That's not too
yeah, she grew
far
up in
away.
Brentwood, or I thought it was Brentwood or Franklin,
It
somewhere in
might
that
be
area. I know
Brentwood.
that
I don't know.
we met in the middle at Cool Springs, so I don't know exactly where that is. But her and I went to the same church, which we both had like some interesting experiences, like not necessarily for the best, but we grew up around the same time that the church started getting kind of weird. And
Whoa, no way. You guys went to the same church.
yeah, and it kind of turned a little culty. So our families both jumped ship at the same time, and we had just known each other like from youth group. And
Wow,
I
really?
hadn't seen each other in like, I want to say 6 years. And then actually that Freeze Fest that you mentioned, we reconnected there for the first time since then.
No way.
Yeah, so thank you.
Oh, that's really cool. I'm glad you got to come to a little bit of that Freeze Fest. That was really special. That was definitely the most special one yet. Like getting to be outside and having people camping and just having like a bonfire going and it being like 25 degrees outside.
Yeah, that was awesome. And I was very sick around that time, and I'd been for like almost a month. I'd been really sick, and just some weird stuff happened. And then like I was like, I'm gonna go to the last night. I have to go to the last night. I have to see Lauren. I want to see Freeze. Like I can't miss this. So I'm going, and I'm like so drugged up on Dayquil and like a whole bunch of other fun jazz.
Man, I'm glad you were there. I'm glad you powered through.
Thanks. It was
That's
so
really
great to see you.
special.
I have this like picture wall on my door, and I have the picture of you and I after your set, like freezing our butts off and just like
Yeah, I remember taking that picture. I remember being stoked that you asked to take a picture. I was like,
it made me happy.
I think one thing that made me really want to have you on here and just that I want to learn more about your project and what you're doing is that you seem to be just one of the most like genuine and positive people. And I haven't even interacted with you much,
Thank
but just from
you.
the times I've met you and just like, seeing what you do online, you seem to be radiating just a lot of positivity. And I guess I'm just
Thank you so
curious
much.
I don't know. I'm curious to learn more about what keeps you going every day and just like what keeps you feeling so positive and excited to like make music, and do
Well,
everything.
thanks. That means a lot to me. I feel like I put out the opposite kind of vibe sometimes, so that's nice to hear.
Yeah.
Um, I think I've got a really really killer support system, and that makes a big difference. And I have my boyfriend has been like there from the beginning with this. We're actually in 9 days gonna hit our 3-year dating mark, and
Wow.
he's like since I got involved in the scene, he's been like, you're doing it, like you got this. He's like, I'm gonna be a writer. We can, if you go on tour, like I can be on the road with you because it's a portable job and we can have so much fun together. And like he's just like since day one been the strongest cheerleader in the world. And like
Yeah.
it's just I don't think I could have gotten this far without that support from him. And like likewise my parents have been, my stepdad's a huge, like his whole life has been music. He's a drummer, and it's been really nice to just always have no doubt that like my immediate circle is backing me.
Yeah, right. That's really special. What is your boyfriend's name? Have I met him, you think? Have we ever crossed paths?
Sam, he goes by August. He goes to Belmont. He's
Cool.
got purple hair right now like me.
Oh, sweet.
And
Cool.
he's great.
I'll be on
He
the
wears
lookout.
sweaters in summer. I
That's cute. Y'all both
don't
have
get that.
purple hair.
Thank you. We had blue together at the same time last week.
Wow, y'all changed it up pretty quickly. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So with your stepdad, does he tour? Does he like perform a lot, or what, does he like a session player? What does he like to do with drumming?
He's done so much. It's insane. Like I love to brag on him because he never will, and
Yeah.
he's so humble because he's been through like he had stage 4 pancreatic cancer and like
Oh
is
man.
just amazing walking miracle. And he's just the happiest person you'll ever meet, and has been able to experience and has seen. There's something I like to like perspective with him is that he's innocent without ignorance. Like he just has this, I know the dark of the world, but I'm choosing not to be affected by it or
Yeah.
influenced by it. And he's just amazing. And he's gotten involved, I think, in so many things just
Wow.
because of that amazing thing he puts off. And I mean, aside from his insane talents and
Yeah,
incredible
right.
work ethic, but he toured with, like, back in the day, Beach Boys, like right when Brian Wilson left.
Wait, what is
He
his
did
name?
Patrick Malley,
Patrick
um,
Malley. Wow.
Maey,
You know, the
but
Beach Boys are my favorite band of all time.
yeah, they're killer. He
That's
actually found
crazy.
out, this is like a bit of a recent sore spot. He found out not too long ago that when he was touring with the Ripcords, there was someone involved that was kind of giving him a little slack because I think it was just a jealousy thing, you know how people can get. And Patrick was supposed to play on the Smile album for Brian Wilson.
Wow.
Yeah, and then found out
Oh
that
my
this guy kind of
goodness.
intercepted and said like, "Oh no, Patrick's not available." So it was like,
Oh.
he just found this out like weeks ago. But
Oh my
that's his favorite
goodness.
album of all time. So it was just like, ah.
Oh man, oh my gosh, dude, that is crazy.
But
Yeah,
like
that's
in the
like the
same
greatest album
time,
of all time.
oh, it's amazing. But he also is, you know, like with him being the positive person that he is, he's like, but you know what? If I had gone through with that show, it would have put me in this place in 2008. I wouldn't have met your mom, and we wouldn't be a family. And
Wow.
he's like, so I'm grateful. And it's just like, I'm upset for you.
Yeah, right. Wait, can I ask one more question about it? I'm curious, how long did he like
Yeah.
tour with, or did he record any with the Beach Boys? Just because I just am so curious.
I think he did some of like the remastering stuff, but no original tracks. But he
Cool.
did some stuff with the Turtles, Beach Boys, Mickey Dolenz is like actually a friend of his
Wow.
now. I'm trying to
Wow.
think of like pop artists he's worked with recently: John Legend, Katy Perry, Michael Jackson. He recorded on Scream and Earth Song.
What?
Something on Ghana. Yeah, his list goes on and on. It's insane.
Wait, is he a professor at Belmont?
He works at Nashville Computer, and then he does hired gun sessions work for still a lot of people who I can't mention right now, but I really want to.
Yeah, right. The reason I asked is because I heard that I'm pretty sure like a member of the Turtles or something is like a professor at Belmont that my
Oh
friends have had.
yeah, I heard about that. I think he was
Um,
an actual member though. Patrick wasn't a member; he was just touring with them.
how cool! What an exciting life. So I mean, how
Crazy.
long? I guess just have you? Has your stepdad been a part of your life for like I don't know when everything happened, but like has he been someone that's like been there the whole time, like influencing you and like pushing you to pursue
Oh yeah,
music?
he's definitely like had one of the biggest hands in raising me, if anyone. And
Wow.
he's awesome. And like I still have a relationship with my dad too, but like, you know,
Hmm.
I live in the same house with Patrick, and that makes a difference.
Yeah,
Um,
right.
and he's just like, yeah, I don't know where I'd be had he not entered our lives, and I'm just ridiculously grateful. And
Yeah.
he's been since I was 7 years old involved in everything, so it's been cool.
That's cool. So when you talk about saying you have a good support system, you're thinking like your family and your boyfriend and just all these people who are really just there encouraging you day
Yeah,
after day to just wake up and be the best version of yourself you can and the best musician too. Um,
I'm so grateful.
yeah, and I can tell you definitely like radiate that gratitude for sure. And I think, like I said,
Thank
I
you.
think that's just really special. So I do want to ask you a little bit more about Geez Louise. Like, are y'all working on anything right now? Is what's going on like amidst COVID? I mean, with no shows or anything, are y'all able to even see each other much or write and record?
So we've all been like fairly careful. Nick and I actually work together at a coffee shop right now that
What coffee shop?
I'm helping open one right now. And it's not quite open yet, but it's called Viking Coffee Bar in Spring Hill. So swing
Whoa,
by in a few weeks.
cool.
But
Okay,
just had him on, so now he's our first part timer, and uh, we're doing everything we can to stay as cautious as possible. Because I mean, like, it's pretty scary to get back out, especially in the
sure.
food industry.
Yeah,
But we've all been cautious enough that we're able to see each other. Like Lauren works for her family right now.
cool.
Thailand goes to the same places strategically. There's just a lot of caution. And then we've worked with recording a little bit, and that was with Parker Forbes from the Criticals.
Of course.
He's been our saving grace with music, and he's been our producer for our past 3 or 4 tracks.
Whoa,
And
no way.
phenomenal. I've never worked with anyone like him. Like, amazing person to work with. Knows exactly what we need. Like, even when we don't. So it's just
Yeah.
great.
Does he? Are y'all recording at his place?
Mm-hmm. He's got a place about 2 hours south from here that we've been going to.
Yeah. What city is it in? I've heard of this. I've heard it. Yeah, it's like a couple hours outside.
It's
I know it's.
Savannah, Tennessee.
Wow, I gotta look it up on a map. I've literally never even been there my whhole life.
It's like out in the boonies. It's so pretty, and it's cool because like you don't have a lot of phone reception or anything, so you can't be like
Yeah.
scrolling through Instagram. You actually have to engage with who you're with, and it's nice.
Wow.
It's
Is
a
that
nice
why?
change of pace.
Why does he have a place in Savannah? Like, is he? Because he's done that ever since I've known him. They've been going out to there to record like his
Yeah.
projects.
I think it was his childhood home, and like he moved out
Wow.
here, and then still has ties there, and it's just cool.
Yeah, I definitely think that is cool. Like especially when it comes to like a creative process, being able to kind of get out there, like you said, away from the cell service, but also like you're making an intentional effort to go there, and you can't just like dip out. It
Hmm.
can't be like, hey, I've got to go. It's like you're there.
Right.
I'm
And we
sure
all
that helps.
carpool. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, that's cool. My first album that I made in the studio was in Leapers Fork, and I remember we'd all drive out there
Yeah.
in high school, and we just spend the whole evening there because it was like a trek to get out there.
Hmm.
That's so cool. So y'all only have one song out, at least on Spotify, right?
Yeah. We're not.
So what's going on? Do you have more tracks that are ready, or are y'all working on them right now?
We've got a few ready. Bomb Shelter is definitely not the direction that we want to go in the future. Like, that was kind of our more pop genre out of everything we're shooting for, just to kind of like
Cool.
catch more flies, and then we'll be able to go a little bit more into where we're hoping to, which is a little more into like the always div, like rock and synth and just kind of weird shoegaze stuff.
Yeah.
And it's been really fun to start experimenting with that, because that's something that I've wanted to do since I was in like 8th grade and just never knew how to accomplish it. And I mean, like, Parker knows. He's got it, and
Yeah.
he's been helping us kind of just like discover like, oh, if we were to do this, then like this could unlock this sound. And it's been, as someone who doesn't know gear or terminology for the music industry, it's really nice to like be explained in a nice non-condescending way consistently from Nick and Parker and like everyone involved with the project.
Right.
Oh, that's what that means. And being able to
Right.
communicate and
Yeah, right. Totally. I mean, there's no need for that condescension. I feel the same way. I'm always intimidated, but luckily, because I feel like I don't know a lot, especially when it comes to like tone or like pedals and amps and stuff.
right.
And whenever people are like, luckily, like most of my band are just like, yeah, whatever, whatever sounds good. Like, and they're like slow. They can explain stuff to me slowly if I need, or if it doesn't matter, then they're just like, it doesn't matter, whatever feels
Mm-hmm.
right, just do that. And that's a really encouraging thing. And I feel like that's been a lot of my experience growing up and being in Nashville's music scene. I feel like for the most part, I encounter people who want to collaborate and they want each other to succeed. And that's what makes
Mm-hmm.
it so special. You know what I mean?
Feels like a big giant family of just like, I support you, you support me, and we have fun doing it. Mm.
Yeah. Were y'all
It's,
able
yeah,
to play a lot of shows like in the last 2 years before COVID hit? Have y'all been playing a lot?
we only played 5, and we were just starting, like we had just started actually lining up like 2 or 3 per month, and we had them planned out, and then it was like COVID hit. Shoot, we had to cancel our show with Tummy Ache, which is such a bummer because I'm such a fan of hers.
Oh my goodness, that would have been amazing.
Yeah, she's such a cool person, so it was like, yeah,
Yeah,
this is gonna be a fun hang, fun show. And then yeah, it was just didn't work out, but it was gonna be
that's
our first show
cool.
at Dark Matter too.
Oh man. I'm sorry that didn't work out. I got to play with her solo project on a New Year's Eve
Oh,
show in 2018. It was really cool.
I
Um,
love that.
yeah, yeah. I was very stoked. That's cool. Well, I'm sorry that y'all right when you were on the brink of starting to perform more to get it
I
taken
know.
away. That is a huge bummer. What has like been since you're dealing with that? Is that like made y'all just turn to being more creative, or has it really slowed things down? Or
Honestly, I think like, I mean, aside from the obvious show aspect, it hasn't changed too much in the way we do stuff like behind the scenes, because we're constantly trying to crank out new stuff. Even if we don't use it, like at least we have it on the backlog.
Yeah.
And just so we have preparation. Like I just wrote up a 2-year plan about a week ago of like, here's how we're going to do releases. We're going to do this in this month for this reason, because the psychology of this. And I'm trying so hard.
Yeah.
But we're planning on
Wow.
trying to do like 2 singles after the new year, and then work our way into an EP, possibly. So
That's cool. That's cool. That's awesome. That's exciting.
thank you.
I that band that you mentioned, it's like DIIV. Did you say it's, how do you pronounce that? Div?
DIIV.
Cool. I know that Parker is like massively into that project. So the fact that you're like drawing from that influence and you have Parker helping like with production or engineering, like I feel like you'll have to be riding a pretty similar wave. That's got to be pretty awesome.
It just worked out too. And like, I honestly found out 3 weeks ago that Parker likes Div. I didn't even know.
They're like
But,
one
like,
of his favorite bands.
And it's one of mine too. And I didn't know that this whole time. I was like, oh my gosh, this is why we click.
Yeah, right. That's pretty incredible.
Just very serendipitous. It really worked in our favor.
Yeah, right. So, what about the first single? Do you feel like you're gonna take that down, or like do you feel like it's too different from the stuff you're working on, or do you want to keep it up to kind of like tell your story? You know what I mean?
I mean,
Is that something you'll think about?
yeah, we were talking about like possibly pulling it and like redoing it, but part of me also is like, I like to look back and be like, well, that's not what I wanted to do exactly. I'm grateful for the experience. I'm grateful for the time that we spent at this specific studio, which was with a totally different team.
Yeah.
You know, my family, because nepotism is beautiful. They were so wonderful. They helped us put out this cool little like behind the scenes video, and like it made our first release feel really special. And it was just, it's a memory that I don't want to like just shrug off because I don't love the song.
Right.
But at the same time, it's kind of like, I like to stay, you know, for lack of better term, on brand and just like be consistent. And
yeah,
that's
right.
gonna break that up a little bit, but
that's
we'll
hard.
See. We'll see
That's
how
hard.
it goes.
I feel the same way. Like I feel like I've talked about this a lot on this show because I personally like struggle with that a lot. Like my old music, yeah, I want to like create a brand or create this idea by myself, and I feel like everything before 2019 like that I've put out is just so different, and I'm like, oh, it doesn't feel like it's me. So it's hard because part of me is like, no, people are listening to it, you know, like to some extent, and you know, if I know, like I can see that there's like streams, even if it's like 2 a day. It's like if somebody likes a song,
Yeah.
why take it away from them, and they can see the story and see who I am now and see who I used to be. Like, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I think that feels right, but it's also hard when you're still starting up, like, you know, both of us are to some extent, to where you feel like, oh, like, you know, maybe I should like take all that down so that people can like think that this is the beginning of my career, and everything
Right.
before that could just be like gone. You know what I mean? In the high
But
school
I like
scrapbook.
the honesty too of like, this is where it was at first, you know, like
Mm-hmm.
I know personally, like I love seeing, whether it's in like, I like fashion, so like whether it's watching like someone's style or someone's art or someone's music, to see where they started and see where they are now, because it's kind of like, oh, I did this, like I would be able to do this someday, like that's within my future and my ability. And having seen someone else come from point A to point B, it's always encouraging. So like I want to be able to offer that in some way without like taking too big of a risk with being consistent or not being consistent.
Yeah, right. I think that makes sense. I think that you could worry yourself to death about consistency and staying on brand or whatever as an artist, especially because we're all changing all the time. You know what I mean? Just becoming new people every day. Yeah, totally. I feel that. So with Geez Louise, like, have you guys ever thought about touring or anything like that? Are you guys in school right now? I don't really know y'all's life situation or where y'all are.
So I'm a dropout.
Let's go. Me too. That's cool.
Yeah.
Where'd you go for a little bit?
I just went to C-State because my guidance counselor at my school cornered me and made me. So it was one of those like, fine. And it's hard to work in an environment where you can tell no one wants to be there.
Yeah. Is that how it was like there?
Yeah. Cause like, I mean, that's with the free tuition and stuff happening.
Right.
everyone's parents were making them go and no one wanted to. And it was just kind of like, it's hard to be productive in an environment like that.
I
But
could see that.
it wasn't the worst thing in the world. Part
How
of
long
it
do you
too is
go?
just I'm lazy.
Yeah, right.
uh, I went for a whole semester and a half and then ducked out pretty quickly.
That's cool.
But yeah,
That's cool. So what
just
about the rest of the
cool.
band? Are they in school, or are y'all all dropouts?
So Lauren didn't do college. I don't know if she has any plans to. Same with Tylen. I'm not sure. I think he did, but I don't know his background well enough yet.
Right.
Nick went to Dark Horse Institution thing.
That's right. That's crazy.
So cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was neat to get a little tour around the studio. I got to go while Seether was there, and like the little emo 8th grader in me was like losing my mind.
Whoa.
I made eye contact with one of them.
Really?
Yeah, he was the bald one. I'd love to tell you I know his name, but I'm not a true fan.
That's okay.
But it was so cool. I was
That's
like,
really cool.
Seether is 5 feet from me.
Wow. Yeah. That's kind of a Nashville thing a little bit. Like I've actually run into so many of my heroes just like at least once. It's kind of crazy. Just like
Yeah.
you start to think like, oh, Nashville's not as crazy as everyone thinks. Like I don't run into Dolly Parton when I'm going to a restaurant, but like you really do just like all the time,
Yeah, you will.
Even just like, someone like your stepfather who just like, has at least, he's worked with Brian Wilson. Like that's just one step away from like my hero. And it's like, this city is just like that. It's just rich, full of just like people constantly like being around who are involved in the industry in some way or another. Even when sometimes I think it's not, I'm reminded it really is more than I can even comprehend.
And it's like, if it's not your direct hero, it's mutual friends with your hero. And it's just, it's nuts. Like I know people who know La 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 La,
oh yeah,
like I'm obsessed with that project, and someone went to school with them out in Chicago, I think, and I was just like,
wow.
Of course, naturally, like why wouldn't you?
Yeah, right. They opened up for Twin Peaks, I want to say, both nights at the Basement East, I believe.
No way. I didn't even know about that.
If I'm thinking about the right project, because I'm not as familiar with this project, but
probably like that's kind of up their alley.
Let's see. La 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 La.
Yeah, it's like Lala, one word, Lala.
Cool. Yes, that's right. Because I talked to this person for a while. Well, I tried to. Super cool. They were like, intimidating to me, but just because I was nervous. And I was also trying to talk to Twin Peaks because I just love that band so much.
Oh yes.
That was one of the last concerts I went to, I guess, before everything shut down. That's been really hard for me. I do so much like touring. I really, really miss being out there and going to shows. And, I feel like I don't even know how you grow as like an artist or like make a fan base without touring. Because that's been what I've done so long. I just think it's kind of a mystery how you could just do it in the digital world unless you're like trying to go viral on TikTok or something.
Yeah. And I mean, that's just not the same intimacy that you can get with like talking to someone in person. And
yeah, right. Do y'all talk about stuff like marketing and stuff like that, or is it just like let's just focus on the art and hope it takes us where it needs to go?
We're already planning some like we have stickers.
Cool, nice.
But we're planning some like talking to our distribution for stuff like that, and then for some like merch stuff. Just I want to do a lot of like physical marketing. I think it's fun, especially for just like more for the local scene of kind of, hey, we're Geez Louise, like we're here too, because there's just, it's so easy to get lost in Nashville.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, we have a lot of like loose ideas that we still need to finish actual songs for. Like I have a t-shirt designed for a song that we haven't written yet.
Cool. What? That's awesome. What?
trying to write it, but it's not even like in the song yet, so we'll see how that goes.
Wow, that's cool. So you had the idea for the design before the song was written? How does that work?
Yeah. I was just like waking up one morning and I had a weird dream, and like this weird little character played into it, and then I pictured them brushing their teeth when I was, and then they had coffee, and I was picturing like this skeleton that looks like a disgruntled dad, and he's got his coffee, and I was like, what if that said Geez Louise, and then he had this specific piece of merch on, and it was kind of like, hey, like I'm gonna draw this while I'm at work, and then it worked. So now Nick and I are working on writing a song around this strange dream concept idea.
That's cool. I mean, that seems pretty unconventional, but at the same time, like if you have an idea for like a visual or an aesthetic, I do think that can kind of help lead you to like the music, to the chords, and to the lyrics. They might, if you know the vision for like at least the mood or like the vibe or the image of what you're creating, you know what I mean?
For sure. And it's not, I've never worked backwards in that way before, because like as a visual artist, usually I'll hear a song and it's like I hear these colors and this like mood with this, like this is a cool song, so it's got to be like purples and blues, and then I'll paint from that. So now it's like completely vice versa, and we'll just see how it works out. It's not done yet.
I think that's really cool. Is y'all's songwriting process pretty collaborative?
Oh yeah, it's definitely, I would say like 80% of the time it's Nick and I. There are a few songs I wrote by myself, but like they were basic until he kind of jazzed them up the way he does. And
that's cool.
It's been a lot of fun because I've never been able to co-write with someone like successfully before him. And then it was another one of those things that just fell into place.
Yeah, right. It's not easy to co-write, especially like I don't feel like it definitely wasn't a natural thing for me. Like I did have a band in high school, and we would kind of write songs together. But it's always just been more like me bringing a song to a band. I have a hard time. I'm still learning, I feel like, how to collaborate when it comes to lyrics and it comes to, the base of the song.
Yeah, it's so hard to do. Like, I can't collaborate on lyrics, I'm grateful for the way Nick's strengths and my strengths are separate. So he's the best at like helping with the structure of the song, because I'm kind of like, let's try this and do this. And he's like, whoa. Like bring it back. And we'll actually make it make sense. And
that's
then
cool.
It's very helpful. And so he'll do all of the like music, and then we'll do the structure together, and then I'll do the lyrics and melody, and then it's just like boom, we're done. And it's just it's easy. So nice.
That's cool. Where did Nick, he didn't grow up here, did he?
No, he's from Indiana originally.
That's right. Yeah, and he moved here to go to the institute, the school. Very interesting. Cool. So, and y'all met through This Wonderful World.
Yeah.
How did you get involved with This Wonderful World? Was it through your like visuals?
Actually, yeah, but I was solely recommended like by someone I barely knew, who's just like a coworker of mine, and knew the guy who was starting at Hamilton.
Yeah.
And he had been close friends with him forever, and he was like, hey Nash, like here's an artist, you need an artist, talk to her. And then it's 2.5 years or something like that now.
Wow, with This Wonderful World?
Mm-hmm.
How involved are you there? Like what does that look like? Is that something you're constantly doing, or is it something you're like working on things to submit to them? Or
it was something that I was definitely much more heavily involved with in the past. I actually think I'm going to take a step back, possibly completely tomorrow, actually.
Snap.
Yeah, no ill will at all. Just kind of like, I think I've done my time there, and like I've had a great time. I've made incredible relationships, and like I could not have been involved with the art community, with the music community, with anything Nashville had it not been for them. So I'm so grateful to have had that experience. But I think there's just kind of to a point where it's like, I think I've done all I can as far as my input, and I'm gonna pass the torch with the art gallery, which is what I solely do right now for like gathering Nashville artists to put stuff in, which has been so cool, like meeting some really neat people. But yeah, I think it's one of those things that's like, all right, I think I'm ready to take the next step. And
yeah, that makes sense. I mean, I think as an artist and as a person, it's good to let things go sometimes before you even are 100% ready to let them go, because it keeps you fresh and on your feet. And I don't know, like there's a lot of things I think about in the past that I was involved with like Freeze Fest, or like booking for venues, like certain aspects of how I was involved in the DIY scene in Nashville that I've had to let go so that I could tour more and work more on my music. And it's not that I ever wanted to like let them go, or even for me, really dropping out of school. Like actually really enjoyed the school I went to and had a good community, but I felt like it was just time. Like I'd been there for a couple of years, and
Yeah.
I was like, if I stay here any longer, I'm going to start growing like resentful, just because I need to be doing something else. And recognizing that,
Right.
just being able to like it's time for me to move on and put my effort and creativity somewhere else, I feel like is a healthy skill. You know what I mean?
When you know, you know.
Yeah. What was that
Yeah.
like though? What were you doing there? You said you were involved in the art gallery?
Yeah, so it was a monthly segment where I got to just reach out to locals, and it was originally like try to keep it Middle Tennessee, and then we did some surrounding states, but still tried to
Cool.
keep it as like so other local artists could see them and maybe do a collab or do a commission or something like that. And I would always recommend that like we would have them do a paragraph, and I'd say like throw your social in there so that people can contact you. Um, and I think there've been some cool things that come from that. I've met some really neat people. Like there was this one woman who, oh my gosh, I can't believe her name is slipping my mind right now, but she sent me this incredible print she did, and she was just like, thanks for putting me in the magazine. And it was like she was selling these
Wow.
prints for like $40 and then just sent me one as a thank you. And it was
Oh
like,
my goodness.
oh my gosh, like that was just so kind, and just
Yeah.
met some really cool people through this, and I'm so grateful for it.
That's really cool. And you
You're
met
welcome.
your collaborator. I
Yeah.
mean, the whole
couldn't have
band.
done it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right. Did so in when did you start doing like visual art? Because you have an amazing talent with that, and I know that's something you do a lot of too. Is that something that
Thank you.
comes before music, or at least happened earlier in your life before music? You know what I mean?
Definitely way before. Music is something that I've always like been obsessed with, but never knew I wanted to do until a few years ago. And then art's been something that I've just done. Like, it's not something I want to do for a living, but it's something I just enjoy. So it's very cathartic, and just
Yeah.
it's just nice. Like I've gotten into several different mediums over the years, but I probably started like drawing when I was 2, and then
Really, just
just,
always.
yeah, just always. And then my old means of encouragement was less so gratitude and more so competition. And in like 3rd through 5th grade, there was this girl who was also an artist in our class, and I was like, I'm gonna beat her, so I just wanted to be the better artist. And I've thankfully, I think, grown past that for the most part. But thank you to my childhood competition, because had that not been there, I don't
Yeah,
know if I'd
right.
still, but
There's
yeah.
definitely something to like some like healthy competition. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
I feel like when I look at my friends in the scene, it is like a thing where I'm rooting for them and cheering for them, and at my healthiest state, I'm like encouraging them and doing the best I can to like support. But it is also a little bit of like, wow, look what Parker Forbes did. Like it does make me think about myself and be like, wow, like should I be trying to like do something like that? Like should I be trying to
Yeah,
make an amazing music video like they just did with
I know.
that they just released for, what was that, for Treat You Better, I think?
With Daniel
Oh
Cheney.
my goodness, yeah, with Daniel Cheney and Catherine and I don't know who else was involved with that. Hannah Hall, I think.
Hannah Hall was in it, and then Mika is
Yeah,
the name of the
Mika,
person.
totally,
I think Mika.
and
But
Mika's wife as well, who was a part of
yeah,
it. Um, um, what's her name? Rats. I draw a blank sometimes on the show, even though Sophia Lauer, or Sophia Mateen now, who I know very well. I just draw blanks in here. I literally got the guest name wrong yesterday. He's like somebody I text every single day. It's like a friend of mine. I just said the wrong name. But anyway, yeah, like that was just such a cool project, and seeing that it's it's not like an angry or like competition, but it is like encouraging to like see people around you doing things that you haven't thought of, and it makes you be like, wow, that's a great idea. I should really actually
yeah.
think about doing something like that.
Instead of like making you mad, it kind of lights a fire of like, oh, this person's doing this, then I mean, I should be doing this, or I could be doing this rather.
Yeah, like why am I not,
Yeah, exactly. So it's definitely like competitive but encouraging. Yeah, I
Mm.
think that's a good word for it. But
Yeah, right. Do you feel particularly drawn to like Nashville's music scene, or would you see yourself in a year or two living somewhere else?
I see myself living here just because I think we've got a good surrounding here. We've got a good, obviously, producer. I want to end up in Seattle at some point, but the music scene there isn't super strong. So I definitely want to stay somewhere until like the career is a little more settled and possible. But that's more like probably retirement age. So I'll just be wherever the heck the wind takes me until then. But
Yeah, right. I feel like as a musician, and especially when you're trying to grow in like a DIY scene, it's like hard. It'd be really hard to uproot and go somewhere else. And I have
sure.
friends who don't do music, and they're like, "Oh, I might move here, here. What about you?" And sometimes I feel like a chum because I'm like, I'm probably just gonna stay here for a while. But like, I get my kicks traveling through touring, and when I think about actually living somewhere else, I'm like, I feel like that would be just like sad. Like I feel like I've done so much work, and I have so many friends in Nashville.
Right.
It'd be hard to move and give that up. You know what I mean? But at the same time, maybe it would be cool to like live in a different city. Maybe that would give me fresh perspective. I don't know, but it just seems like I would lose too much. I feel like it wouldn't be worth it. You know what I mean?
I feel like there's a difference too between like moving away and getting perspective versus like when you move somewhere and then move again once you're settled and then move again once you're settled, because then you need to grow roots somewhere, because you're not going to have a team, you're not going to have a fan base that's like solidly around you.
Yeah.
And I don't know, there's just something to me about like having consistency. I operate well with consistency, and not necessarily in like every area, but just having at least something that you can go back to, like having a group of friends that's, you know, at the farthest an hour away, or I don't know, just having a shop you can go to like go brainstorm, like this is my writing place, you know,
Yeah,
something,
right.
just a little bit of ground.
That kind of stuff takes so long to foster that I feel like if I moved to a new
Yeah.
city, I would like have to spend another year or two like regrowing those roots, and then I feel like that would just push me back. Like that, it wouldn't keep me moving forward as quickly as an artist, especially like in terms of momentum. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think with the DIY community, like you mentioned too, it's so relationships based, and like it's networking too, but we're friends who are networking.
Yeah.
And you either become friends first and then you network, or you network and then become friends, in the way the DIY community kind of works. And that takes time, and you have to be somewhere for a long time for that to be set, and
Yeah.
like to have a community and be part of someone else's.
Right.
And yeah,
Totally.
I can't imagine.
I can't imagine either. I think I've always thought, you know, when I went to Lipscomb, it's like a liberal arts university here in
Mhm.
Nashville. You might be familiar with, but like the idea of study abroad, that's like something that I wasn't able to do because of like touring and just my major. But like I did think that that was cool. How people would like go somewhere for 3 months and then come back. They were gone for a pretty significant amount of time, and they seemed when they would come back, they would have all this fresh perspective and they
Mhm.
just feel so energized, but they weren't like completely moving there. I've always thought that would be cool to maybe like spend some months, especially like, I don't know, if you're big enough to where you have a label or someone who like gives you money to create an
Yeah.
album, you could use that to just like go to a different country and just spend right there. You know, I feel like that, I feel like that in that kind of way, I can see how traveling could like really help your art, and just like being around different cultures, I think would help me make better things. But I would never want to actually
Yeah.
like you said, like uproot what I have. You know what I mean?
Right. And that's keeping yourself inspired too, versus just shrugging what you have and then like give me something new. You know, like it's kind
Yeah,
of keeping and valuing what you already have and then adding on to it with more experience and more just cultural involvement. And I think that that's
totally.
definitely like when I went to New York, um I'd gone when I was a child, but for like the first time that I could remember it, when I was like 15, and I wrote
Cool.
like 5 short stories. Well, I really wanted to be a writer, and I wrote like 5 short stories in the span of like 2 days, just because it was like new scene. This gives me an idea because I don't see this on a daily basis. Then I'm gonna start thinking about this, and it's like I think it helps so much with thought process.
Yeah,
But
right. But that's cool. So you were writing short stories back then?
yeah, but that's no.
Do you feel like that inspiration though is like moved into music, or your idea for writing, or do you think it's just totally gone?
No, I definitely think so, because I love writing songs that are story based. Like I like love songs and stuff, but I'm not good at them.
Mm-hmm.
So I wrote one love song and it was like really convoluted, and it has Shakespeare and Robert Frost like really sarcastically referenced, and it's just all kinds of goofy pretentious.
Yeah,
But
right.
mostly it's definitely, I like dark humor lyrics and something that tells like a story that's just slightly off color.
Yeah, right.
But
That's true. I
uh
mean, y'all's debut single tackles some pretty serious stuff in the lyrics.
yeah, that one's definitely less on the humor end, but
Yeah, right. That's interesting. I feel that similar. Like, I used to write short stories in like middle school, and even in high school I wrote a ton of poetry. And I don't do those as much anymore. I still try to write a little bit, but I do feel like a lot of my songs, I think more so than other people, are like based in locations. When I'm writing them, I picture them being like in a specific place, and they have a little bit of like a story to them. You know,
yeah.
I really do like songs like that that can really transport you to a different world. So it's interesting that you share that as well, that you have that inclination to write story, like went from writing short stories to like writing songs that maybe share a little bit of that spirit. That's pretty
Yeah,
cool.
it's a fun experience to just kind of like transpose the
Hmm.
intention. I think with short stories too, was always, it got too wordy for me, and then I was just like, I'm talking myself in a circle about the same topic and not doing it well. And then I think with the song, it was like, and that's the job of the chorus.
Yeah, right. Yeah, songs can be pretty. Songs have way less words. I mean, a song
Yeah,
can have a pretty small amount of words when you have just like two verses and a chorus or something. It can be kind of
right.
refreshing because you're like, wow, I've almost told the whole story. And if you want to write more, you can. A lot of times when I write songs, actually, they have like four verses, and then I have to like chop them all down because it's just
Yeah,
way too long, and I'm like, nobody wants to hear all
we
of
do that a
this.
lot.
Yeah, that's fine. Do you feel like your music is adapted a lot to like the Spotify, like in like the streaming age? Do you feel like when you're writing music, are you thinking about the medium that people are going to be listening to it on, or is it more just coming from inside?
I'm definitely trying to be a little more like projecting my ideas into the future, but it's just so hard because like if I start overthinking, then I instantly have writer's block and like nothing
Right.
will work. So I have to be very much like, I'm in this moment and this is where I am right now. There's nowhere else I need to be. That's actually the lyric of one of our songs, and it's
Hmm.
just sit nowhere else you need to be in it, overwhelmed by everything. Because like I'll just start thinking and thinking and thinking, and then I get nothing done. So I
Yeah.
have to be
Right.
very, this is what I'm doing. And then like once we finish it, and once it's like at least as close as it's going to be for the time being, a finished product, then it's like, okay, game plan. So
Yeah.
we'd had a few recorded with Parker at this point. Then that's why I was able to write that like 1 to 2 year plan, just so that we have something. Because I think this whole time we've been flailing, like successfully flailing with how everything's worked out, but that only works for so long. So
Right.
definitely want to have a little bit of a game plan, just some structure to follow. But
Well, that's
it's loose.
interesting because I feel like you just mentioned two different things that I think are really like essential for writing, which is one, like giving yourself enough space and like kind of like a safe space to where you can create, where you're not too focused on outside ideas, like if this song's going to be successful. You really just have to like find in your soul that, that goodness. But at the same time, what you're
Mm-hmm.
talking about with structure, I feel like is also, to me, an essential part of writing, like having a game plan. And in some ways, not just giving, like, you have a safe space, or maybe you have like a way where you can comfortably write, but you also give yourself limits. Like, you're like, this song needs to be done, or like, I need to have an album done by this point, because otherwise you can just like 5 years could go by and you're just still working on this album. When
Yeah,
you're giving yourself total freedom, it's almost dangerous because there's, with no restriction, you have no way to be creative or no desire to like ever finish it. You know what I mean?
for sure. Just kind of grow stagnant.
Yeah, right. So it's interesting how I'm still thinking about that every day, how it's important to like give myself space and grace, but also to be pushing myself to finish things, or otherwise
Yeah,
I will just keep doing it forever, never put it out.
it's such a hard balance to strike too. Because
It really is. Sometimes I wish that I had more of a band dynamic because it would help me get stuff finished instead of just being like a solo artist. You know, do you feel like your band helps you like stay in touch and hold each
Oh
other
yeah.
accountable?
My ADD butt could not get anything done. So Nick is definitely our like, hey, come back.
Yeah, right. That's
Because I
cool.
mean, I'll go from like thinking a day in the future to like 20 years, like we could be doing this, and he's like, okay, but hold on, we need to figure out how that could even like be a thought.
Yeah,
So,
right. That's
but
cool. That's healthy
yeah.
for sure. Okay, I have two more things that I really wanted to say to you. So one, I wanted to mention your photo shoot. Was that Christina Coleman who took y'all's like album cover?
Yeah, that's all her. She's amazing.
And all y'all's like press photos too, like all of the ones where y'all are wearing matching outfits.
Yeah. We went to Goodwill that day before the shoot and got everything.
Are you wait, what? Y'all found all that at Goodwill?
Yeah, it was a risk. We went to like 2 or 3.
Oh my goodness. Y'all's outfits are so cool.
Thanks.
Um what so how did you meet? I was curious how you met Christina because she's come on tour with me some, and obviously her husband Noah drums for me some too, and I just think they're so cool. Yeah, they're married. They're
God,
married.
that's so crazy.
It is crazy.
Um,
Yeah.
that's awesome. They're the coolest. But
They are really, really cool.
yeah, they're both just the nicest people. Her and I actually not grew up. We were in the same circles when I was in high school, and I guess she was kind of at her tail end of high school and starting college. And I went to this like really small little academy in Columbia. Um,
For high
and
school?
she worked at the Chick-fil-A, I guess, in that area, and like just happened to know a bunch of the people who went to my school. And so I always knew of her, and I think vice versa. And then we actually started talking like once I got involved with the art scene, and she was coming back from college, and it just kind of happened. I was like, hey, do you want to go get tea? And we went and got tea and
Wow.
just became friends. And it was like, I was friends with her sister for a while too, before Christina and I had even met. And it was just like,
Yeah.
it was just a cool, like small world feeling.
That's
But
crazy.
yeah,
Wow. Wait, so you is Columbia near Spring Hill? I thought Spring Hill was. Well, wait, no, I guess
it's
they're
a half
both.
an hour, 35 minutes.
Yeah, right. What high school did you go to?
Zion Christian Academy.
Cool. She says with her teeth clenched. That's cool. Do I want to know anyone else who went there?
um, there's a girl named Sid on the scene. There's, I feel like yes, but I can't think of anyone else.
Sid?
Sid McPherson. She's like a solo artist.
Yes, it sounds very familiar.
Probably. She's played a show with 5 Ton Faces, and she did something at Cafe Coco a while ago. But we were in the
Cool.
graduating class together. We were
Is it
actually
pretty
like
small?
rivals in school, and then we became friends afterwards.
Rivals? How are y'all
Yeah,
rivals?
we were the only two like art hoes at Zion for the time being. So it was like, who's the better art hoe?
That's so funny. Well, that's cool. That's really interesting. That's cool how you met Christina. I also wanted just to ask you about what is your relationship with your visual art right now? Like, are you working on anything, or is that something you do a lot right now?
I mean, I'm trying to get back into it. I have one painting in progress that I could go grab and show you if you want to see it.
Are you? I think that'd be cool. I'd love to see it
Okay.
if you
I'll be
don't
back in
mind.
30 seconds. Not at
Uh,
all. One sec.
yeah, you got it. I'll pause it. Sweet, we're back. All right, cool. I'm stoked to see this.
I actually brought a small little pile.
Cool,
But
great.
look, this is yours. I
Oh
love
my
it so much.
goodness. Wow, that like warms my heart. Dude, I cannot believe this.
Oh, it makes me so happy. I love it.
I can't believe you bought one. That meant so much to me. Thank you so
It's
much.
beautiful.
You really
And
think
like,
so?
what an awesome cause too. Like that was just all around loved it.
Man, thank you so much. Yeah, that thank you. That's so cool. I'm such a beginner when it comes to art. That was my first project as like a visual artist. So
Really?
yeah. I'm just
Dude, that's
starting to get into it
awesome.
over quarantine. So I feel like I don't know. Thank you so much for real. That's
I
cool.
love it. What kind of paper did you use? Because it feels cool. Like it's got a grain.
Actually, it's right here. Let me let me get this. It's I used a company called Masters Touch that that
Yeah.
I think Santa Claus brought me. So my parents gave me an art set for Christmas. So yeah, dude.
Nice.
Well,
We cut out for just a second there.
yeah, you're good. I think we didn't say anything. What else do
Okay, good.
I would like to see your art. Let's see it.
So I've got one that's completely like in the process of getting done. It's a few days away, but I've been having to wait like step by step for it to dry, which takes weeks because it's oil, because I'm a masochist, and it's been torture, but it's been fun. I recently, like I say recently, in the past few years, I got into oil, which I've been doing watercolor like forever, so it was a totally new challenge, and it's been really fun. But I started this sketch for this like 2 years ago, and then just found it a few weeks back and started to like pick up on it. But these are gonna be like little eyes, and this is gonna be 3 doves, and then these blobs are gonna all have like color and shape.
Oh my
And then
goodness.
there's gonna be a typewriter printed thing that says bang bang. So it's just like a weird sketch.
That is so cool.
Thank you. I'm definitely trying to do like realism, but like cartoonish realism with abstracts. And
yeah, that's exactly what it is. Yeah, it's like that. I mean, you said it the best. That's so cool.
Thank you so much. I have a few others that I did a while ago. This was the first oil I did, which
Oh, cool.
Bizarre. The gun I did not paint. That's a newspaper clipping. But
Wow. Oh my goodness.
that was for the Valentine's
cool.
Day issue of This Wonderful World.
Oh, that's totally This Wonderful World. I can totally see that. That's
yeah,
cool.
the satire.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then there's this band out in Ohio, I think. Do you know Noah No Last Name?
No, but that's cool.
They're sick. And he actually asked if he could use it for his EP. It's called Clutch Your Pearls. And I was like, yes. So it was just kind of cool thing.
Yeah, that is so cool. What on earth? That's amazing.
It was neat. And I was already a fan, so I was kind of like, okay, that's cool.
What? That's amazing. What? That's so cool.
Things just work out sometimes.
Yeah.
And the last one I've got that I've had this one done forever, but I haven't like actually scanned it and put it up. And I did sell a few prints, but like nothing beyond that. But I had some experience with gold, like it's gold ink. So it's all shiny.
Yeah.
And there's some on her like eyeliner and stuff, but I was just playing around with like a new weird looks kind of like Lady Gaga.
For real, that's really nice.
Thank you.
Your like backgrounds of your pictures have just like incredible. I don't even know how to talk about art, but it's just like even just like the pink just like looks so good, and like it looks like it looks like there's clouds or something. It's just like amazing.
I did like a hazy maze design.
Whoa, in the back. Hazy maze.
Yeah.
That's an awesome phrase.
A huge pain.
Yeah, I can imagine, but that's
oh my gosh.
That's really special. Well, that's cool. So do you feel like do you feel like both of your art and your your visual and audio arts, do you feel like they go together? Are there two just separate things to you, or?
Yeah, I think they're starting to head in that direction with the newer stuff we've been recording. Kind of has that like, I really like the pastel-y feeling with kind of like a dark tone to it. So like with Bomb Shelter, that's kind of what I wanted to do audio-wise, because I had done a line of paintings called Sugar Coated Abuse, which was all of these like candy-colored girls, but they all had an injury. So there's one with like a black eye, one with a bandage over her nose, and one with a bloody nose.
Whoa.
So it's supposed to be like, stop softening such a hardcore like topic that needs to be addressed, because I had a friend who was going through some stuff at the time, and just she wasn't in a place that she could say anything about it, or she would be in a very rough spot. So I kind of just wanted to like, she was a few months away from turning 18, so it wasn't like getting emancipated was going to be needed. But yeah, there's just a lot going on. She's in a great place now, thank God. But
that's awesome. Well, that's cool that you're able to make that piece and like, help highlight that. That's a really good story,
And she's an amazing person, very strong.
Yeah, that's really special. That's cool. So I mean, that's a really powerful reason to make a piece of art.
Thanks.
That's cool. And what'd you say?
So sorry, my stomach was just growling
Oh,
evilly.
I didn't even catch it. That's funny. I guess that about wraps it up. We've talked about everything I wanted to ask you about for today. I'm really excited. It's been really cool to get to talk to you a little bit more. I think your visual art is amazing, and I love what
Thank
y'all
you
are
so much.
doing with Geez Louise. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about, or anything else we should plug while we're here?
Just want to say thank you so much for having me. This has been awesome. Like,
Cool.
love this. We need to all have like a Geez Louise Nordista Freeze hangout soon.
I would absolutely love that. If y'all are ever got some going on, I'd love to be a part of it. So,
Heck yeah. Nice
um,
little 6 feet of party.
yeah, we could do something like that. I guess we should plug, like, for people who are listening to this, Geez Louise the band is the Instagram handle. You can find it on Spotify too. And then also, I guess, plugging your art is it under, it's like Menial Deity.
Menial underscore deity underscore art.
Yes. Which is an awesome page. So everybody who's listening to this should go follow that and keep up with what you're doing, and I'll be
Thank
keeping up
you.
too. So if you ever want to come back on and talk about more stuff, we can.
I would love that. And I wanted to tell you one thing. The story behind menial deity, I get a lot of questions. So I
Yeah,
just want
what
to
is the
explain
story with
that.
that?
So my friend and I were talking about indie bands back in like middle school and how they have to be 2 words and be ironic. So I was like menial deity because menial is like small and insignificant, and deity is something that's worshipped. So that was my 8th grade deep pretentious.
I like that. That's funny. You know how like Instagram goes? I think I referred to you as Menial Deity for like a year now. Like,
Yep.
I oftentimes don't call you Sierra. I'm like, do you guys know Menial Deity? Because like that's just how it is. You know what I mean? Like when you're talking about
I
somebody,
love
a
it.
lot of times people know their Instagram first. So
When Hannah Hall changed hers from like the gray hall, I was like, I don't know how to how to explain who I'm talking about now.
yes, exactly. That's another example of it. So in some ways, you kind of create a little. It's like almost like an artist, but I know it's just an
Yeah.
Instagram, but it's like sometimes it's somewhere in the middle. You know what I mean? It's almost
It's
an
like changing
artistic
a band
statement.
name.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
real. Well, that's cool. I like that name a lot. And everybody should follow you and follow your art account and Geez Louise, and keep keeping up. I'm excited to see what y'all do next. I
Thank
believe
you
in
so much.
y'all.
And likewise.
Yeah.
Thank
Thank you.
you.
Thanks for being a part of this.
Thanks.
No problem. Hope you have a good rest of your day. Peace
Thank you.
out.